Hey piano people, in today's video, I'm going to perform my very first original composition. And I could not be more excited to share it with you. For those of you that don't know, I have a very large background in performance. Both of my degrees are in performance. And up until about the pandemic, I was performing pretty regularly. And in fact, in 2020, I was supposed to perform a full recital solo by myself at the college where I was teaching. And at the time, my daughter was very young. She was a baby. And I would wake up every single morning at 5 in the morning so that I could practice for 2 hours before she woke up in the morning. It's crazy. Like looking back, it's crazy. I can't believe I did that. But early morning practice was always a part of my routine. It's how I would practice 4 to 8 hours a day and also do classes during undergrad and grad school. Now, the recital that I was supposed to perform in was scheduled for May of 2020. And as we all remember, in March of 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic shut everything down. And so there was this moment where everything changed for me because, I had a baby, I was practicing early hours in the morning, and then the pandemic happened and that canceled the concert. And not long after that, I went through a divorce and I became a single mom. And for the past few years in my life, performing just hasn't been the priority. Right. And I've also had a lot of internal things going on that I look forward to sharing here on the channel, just about my relationship with performing. Coming as a person who has this background in like very strict classical music performances, and then all of my lived experience since then, there's been a lot of shifts that have happened inside of me as a musician and as a performer and as an artist. And so for the first time in a really long time, I'm kind of in this new season. My daughter is in school now, and don't get me wrong, I'm very busy. I'm doing a lot of things, teaching and making courses for all of you, making videos, putting out a ton of free content. But I'm really feeling called to play again and perform again, but in a different way. I'm feeling called to just like practice and play for the fun of it. But I've also had this feeling like I want to start composing more and writing my own music. And if you would have asked me even a year ago if this was something that I ever thought I would do, I would have said absolutely not, because throughout my whole entire life, I felt very connected to the idea of bringing performances to life, right? Taking a piece of music and diving in and wrapping my brain around it and dissecting the puzzle and putting it all back together and putting my artistic stamp on it. And so this new calling of composing my own music, it feels different. It feels new. It feels really vulnerable because as a lifelong musician, sure, I've dabbled. I've made my own arrangements of pop songs. I've written little ditties here and then. I've written some music for commercials. I've done like a little bit of composing, but I am definitely not a composer. Definitely not to the likes of people that I went to school with who have their degrees in composing. And so today's video feels special. It feels exciting. It feels scary. I'm not gonna lie, because I've never even written a whole piece, let alone to like the few minute scale, and let alone like put it out into the world like this. But I'm going to share it with you. And in fact, I'm gonna make a little challenge for myself that once a month, I'm going to share a video with you that is either one of my own performances or a composition of my own, like a performance of a composition of my own. So it'll either be like an original composition that I'm playing for you, or a piece that I'm working on, a piece that I felt called to like practice and get up to, quote unquote, performance ready. So here it goes, right? And this video was taken by my sister. She moved around so that it would be visually a little bit more interesting, and there's no cut in the audio, right? So like this is a one take performance, so you will hear a mistake or two. I did have to cut the video a little bit though to like crop my hands, so you'll see that on the video. But then the other thing is, after you hear this performance, I did go ahead and make the sheet music available, so you can grab the link in the description if you want it. I posted like a little footage of it on Instagram a couple weeks ago, just like a few seconds of it, and someone was like, "Oh my gosh, we're gonna get the sheet music," and then I got a couple more messages about what is this piece? Where can I get the sheet music? So I figured I would just make it available, and that way, if you want to play it, you can. As I dive in, I want to tell you just the title of the piece and where it comes from. So the piece is called Sacral, and the name Sacral comes from the energy centers of the body. Your sacral chakra is your chakra that's right below your belly button. It's kind of like the birthplace of creativity. And so as I was thinking, like, I want to start composing more, what actually came into my mind was that I wanted to do a set of pieces, maybe one for each of the 7 main energy centers. And I don't know if that's what I'll end up doing, but the first one that I felt called to do was the sacral chakra, because that is the one that is where creativity comes from. And so it felt very apt to write a piece about the birthplace of creativity when this is kind of like my first composition that I'm putting into the world. So without further ado, here it is. Let me know in the comments if you enjoy it, what you think of it, and then you can grab that sheet music in the description. I'll also link it on the end screen for you, and that way it's super easy. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Enjoy. Happy practicing.